So I have some friends who are Buddhist monks, and occasionally they send me some pieces of scripture, some writings, and so that happened last week, and it kind of led me down a rabbit hole of sorts, and I came across a post by someone in this sort of forum, kind of relevant to the piece of scripture that the monk had shared with me, bit of Buddhist scripture. So the post was about a guy who was in a library. And he said it was a kid, well, maybe it wasn't a library, but it was a kid reading a book. And the kid was reading loud, but not so loud that it was disruptive, but you could hear him. And he'd get to the end of a page and he would go, wow. He'd go, wow. And I mean, it captured something about the kids, the young boy's experience of reading, and reminded me of other sort of teachings or talks I've been in with other monks. And there's a monk, Ajahn Sucitto, and he speaks about how we've habituated our joy. Like when we're young, just like with this young boy reading, everything is like, wow, it's novel, it's new, it's fresh. But as we get older, we've just, it becomes a norm, or we lose that sense of mystery, or something goes. As Ajahn Sucitto puts it, we've habituated joy. What would have given us joy before just becomes like familiar and everyday, or we think we know something, and it loses its mystery, it loses its magic. So part of that is because we're so much in our heads. As we're going around, we're not actually present, we're not actually alive to the moment. When we do yoga, we can deepen our connection with our body. We deepen our embodiment. At least we can do. Like if we have that understanding in our practice, then we can be cultivating it, connecting with it, developing it. Now that's important because my old teacher Aloka used to say that kind of the experience you get through practice is dependent on seeds which are sown in the practice. Right? So if practice is all about core and, I don't know, loosening hamstrings, that's fine, that's great, yeah. But we can have that, but we can have also other, maybe we'll call them more spiritual comments, we can call them more spiritual components or seeds to our practice as well. One of which is, okay, as I practice, am I connected to the body? Am I experiencing the posture, not on the mental plane, but on the plane of sensations, feelings, energy, space, all of which is prior to thought. Like, unless, I don't think that will just happen so much spontaneously. Because if you're just like doing your yoga as fitness or as exercise or whatever, these more subtle perhaps components won't be there. And then those seeds will not be sown, and the fruit of those seeds will not be tasted through the practice. I mean, which is fine, but look at your, if you're drawn to yoga, then, well, let's do yoga. So then it's through being embodied that you are in touch with your senses, and then you're more alive to the moment, and the moment is more fresh. You're experiencing the moment in terms of textures and feelings and space, experiencing it. And perhaps there's more wow moments. Like I can remember my first weekend meditation retreat many, many years ago. There's a few things which have stayed with me through the years from that retreat. The first one was, I can remember on the Friday night, just looking around me at all of these other people, thinking, God, what am I doing here with all of these weirdos? But then, on Sunday, like I hung in there. And Friday night, I was like, oh my God, what am I doing here? Sunday afternoon, and beauties and coffee, it just seemed like so far away. But, I hung in there. I got through the weekend. and I got to Sunday afternoon. And I can still remember like leaving the retreat center. Well, it wasn't a retreat center, it was just a hostel that had been kind of taken over for the weekend. This was in Cavan, and we had to walk, of course, from, well, not of course, but we had to walk because we were on buses. We got the bus from the hostel to the main road where the bus left from. Uh, but I can remember stopping and looking in over a gate into a field which had cows and going, wow, cows. But it was like just, I can still remember this, the colors and my connection with the field and, the experience was different to how I had been on Friday. And that was the first real kind of taste, tangible taste of the fruit of practice that I got, which has stayed with me years later. Yeah, just looking into that field. And it was almost like, you're driving around in a car and the windscreen is getting progressively dirtier and murkier and less clear. And then suddenly you just, somebody comes and you go to a car wash and they clean the windscreen. You can just see in a way you couldn't see. That's how it was for me after the weekend of practice. I was just connected differently, seeing differently, and experiencing differently. And it was like, it was delight. It was delight. And like, there's stories again from the Buddhist scripture, the Buddha and his disciples, just sitting in the morning and looking out on the Indian countryside and going, wow, just rejoicing in the beauty that they were surrounded by, and marveling in it and delighting in it. And so, like that's not processed or experienced through thinking. It's just, it's alive, it's presence, it's known through the senses. And the senses, of course, are in the body, and yoga should bring us back into the body. Because we go around our day, we're being pulled out all the time. Our attention is being taken outwards into objects, what people say to us, what we like, what we don't like, advertisements, it's just distraction. But in the practice, we can turn inward, we can focus our attention back in, contain it, and come back to ourselves and come back to the moment and experience the moment, not on the mental plane, but as they say, on the embodied, or through the body, on the embodied plane. And then it's different. And so maybe then we'll find that just more spontaneous experience of joy and delight, pleasure, and more wow moments. But as I say, it's only going to happen most likely if we have those seeds being sown in, and that understanding in our practice. Fine, let it be about core and whatever, glutes and hamstrings. Yeah, great. But yoga is not just about that. It's much more than that. And if we want it to be much more than just physical exercise, then we need to bring understandings to our practice. And as I say, seeds into our practice. And, keep nurturing those seeds, and with time have them bear fruit. So yeah, so it's just to say that, and I wish you more moments of wow during the week ahead.